Welcome back, everybody, to the WCS Circuit Spring Championship. We're here to continue the story to find out the top 8 players at the tournament. We're all very excited to enter the top 8, of course, because we'll be starting a brand new, exciting show, getting all the players on stage and having a lot of fun watching some awesome StarCraft games. And a big thank you to our sponsors, Zowie, Razer, G2A, Monster Energy, and of course, Alienware. Twitter, yeah, that's what follows next. Hashtag WCS, and of course, DH Open. If you've got complaints or maybe some advice for Nathanius in this hype casting, please let us know via the hashtags. Back on the desk. Here we go, boys. Hello, welcome. Hi. Are you excited to enter the top 8? We're one game away from getting there.
I'm excited for a TVZ. To do a TVZ with Jeff is a dream of mine.
Yeah, mine too.
And it's going to come true here.
That'll be, yeah, shortly just around the corner here. But let's go back a little bit and have a look at this matchup we just saw. Scarlet versus Nurture. I mean, guys, you two had a bit of a back and forth, and it's over. The game is over, and Nurture won.
You're right. I was totally wrong. Nurture is just so much better than Huck. I can't believe I ever put the two of them in the same sentence.
How does victory feel, Jeff?
Sean, it's a proud moment in time for me. I think one of the true strengths of Nathanius is that he can recognize when he's wrong. You know what I mean? And to be able to accept that publicly on the stream, I think it's really powerful.
Probably helping too.
That was a weird attack, man. Scarlet was like, wait a second, that seems like a much bigger army. You know what? Let's do it. Doing it.
The Nurture goes through to top 8 here at this tournament. Let's have a quick look at the bracket, and you can see where exactly all the players are so far. Some have been eliminated, obviously, and some are through to the top 8. Pulp versus Laser is going to be the first quarterfinal a little bit later on. Nurture versus Neeb, pretty cool matchup. Showtime versus the winner of our next match coming up. And on the B stream right now, 4 players are fighting for 2 spots in the quarterfinals there to the bottom right-hand side. Bunny versus Master, and Cham versus Jim. Todd, we talked a little bit about the almost lack of, compared to most tournaments, European representation, man. We've got a Chinese player or a Mexican coming through. We've got a lot of North American players doing very well. What's going on?
I feel like North America in particular has really stepped up. You know, they've got a lot of players. And the Chinese players as well. Not too long ago, there was a couple tournaments where I remember there were Chinese players coming over, and not just like Chinese, some Taiwanese as well, and they're just all losing straight away. In this tournament, that did not happen. A lot of them won their games, at least the first few ones, and they did pretty well, to be honest. Even though by now, aren't they all out? Like they won their first match, I think. It was like 3 of them, so.
Well, we got Jim facing Cham.
Oh, yeah, just one left.
Yeah.
One left. All right, so let's focus on our next match at hand then. So the exciting Terran versus Zerg that's about to come up. Iaguz taking on viOlet. viOlet, of course, has had a very difficult set of results, I suppose we can say, over the last 12 months. So lots of ups, lots of downs.
Yeah.
Where do you see him as a player coming into this, Nate?
I think this is a pretty good matchup for him because Iaguz is someone that he should have a reasonable amount of experience playing against for North American qualifiers and such and such. But it has been kind of a weird thing to see for him, you know? He's definitely a guy that's very good, I think, at interacting with people. His English is great as a Korean that's moved to North America. I think he's represented NVS very well. But when you consider, I guess, who he came here with, like Polt, he hasn't shown anywhere near the same class of results.
Well, the other player that he's going to be going up against is Iaguz, who defeated Huck in the previous round. We got some time to catch up and hear his thoughts so far on this tournament and other things.
I just like RTS games in general. I've played like a few online quite a bit. StarCraft 2 is not like the first game I've actually made money playing, although, well, it's the only game I've made real money playing. It's fun to make money playing video games. What a radical concept. Like a decade ago, or about a decade ago, when I heard that you could make money playing video games, I think a little part of me always wanted that to be true. That seemed like the dream job. And yeah, eventually I just sort of got there. It's a fluke for anyone to be a pro gamer. Like, it's not something that comes naturally or easily to a lot of people. Games are kind of meant to be fun, and there's a certain point as a pro where the game is not as fun and you really have to force yourself to play it. I mean, it's work. I'm not generally like that passionate a person too much. I mean, I like sort of joking around and having a laugh, but I don't think I like run on passion per se. I sort of just run on, all right, let's win some tournaments. That'll be fun. I usually just play like a carry. It's like, go away for 30 minutes. I'm gonna get huge. That sort of thing. It turns out I enjoy being admired by strangers, I guess. You gonna leave that in?
What an entertainer. He's always got words to say, and he's quite the funny character in Control.
Oh, really? Throw to me with that one. Yeah. I'm not going to get into trouble here, guys. He is. But what I like about him and what I think is really cool is that he is consistently, as a foreign Terran player, by the way, which seems to be kind of a tough spot to be in. We have a lot of Terran players in the foreign scene that struggle, actually, at getting good results.
Yeah.
He consistently is the best in that C scene, I think, from Australia in particular. And he is going up against top-notch players. And he's done it in his TVZ, but facing this beast of a man, this sexy, rambunctious Korean, just this, wow, this lady killer. He's got what it takes. It's going to be tough. viOlet, very unpredictable, very aggressive, very good. viOlet does get results, but I have to agree with Nathanius earlier and say that, viOlet's results have not been super top-notch. One of the things we've talked about with this WCS system is, let's embolden the foreign scene, but there were still these Koreans that were left behind because they really committed. viOlet, Polt, Hydra. Polt and Hydra getting the results. I mean, it's been a little bit rough this tournament and even the previous one, but the previous one, Hydra won. And here we have viOlet, who we haven't talked about winning these tournaments, I think, ever. And since WCS switched over, it's certainly not in a long time, not even great finishes, really. So getting to the round of 8 from here would be a big step for viOlet, I think, as well.
Both players played in Austin, and viOlet absolutely demolished Iaguz.
Yeah.
So I don't think he's going into this too confident. I got to speak to both players, and I was asking Iaguz, like, are you just having a little bit of trouble against Zerg? He's like, no, I'm actually like quite all right against Zerg. He's just that viOlet is really good. He has too good micro, and he was playing really smart against me. So I think I always like to see a rematch. Even though it was a 3-0, there is a clear favorite and all. It's cool to see what conclusions Iaguz has taken from their last encounter in Austin just a week ago, too. Like, it's not much time to get ready for the next time that they meet, and they're not even meeting like first round. So maybe he hadn't thought of it just yet, but it's going to be nice to see.
So is this just meant to be played out in a very simple series then? It's just meant to be just viOlet winning, going through, and goodbye, Iaguz?
I think that's what the history would show, and based on both players being pretty realistic about their performance, probably what you would almost expect, right? Like, Iaguz is not the guy that's going to come in here and say, I think I can win this, if he really doesn't, He's like a pretty blunt dude. He's like, yeah, maybe I'll lose, but, maybe I won't. And he said that that's pretty much his approach to most matches, even the ones that he does end up winning, because he just kind of plays his game. And I feel like we saw that in the series against Huck yesterday, and he was abused a little bit in the first map, but he did make adjustments throughout that series. So if he can do that here, maybe, but it would be pretty tough. I think viOlet, especially ZvT-wise, is pretty strong.
Any additional thoughts here, gentlemen? On the series, we've
had some
Nate's
upsets.
nailed it, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Nate.
As always on the desk.
Nate's
just, like,
Terran
spot
analysis
on.
in particular seems particularly very focused, very strong.
Thank you.
Not biased
Jeff.
at all.
I
Like, some
was
people-
going to
some
stay away
people
from
would
that
say,
word.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Some
I've
people
been
might
reading.
disagree, but I think he's not biased at all.
What do you think, Nate? Are you biased?
I am incapable of saying anything positive about viOlet because I play Terran on the ladder.
I thought so.
Well, here's
it's
the map order,
The first
Nate.
step
Can you
to
say anything
recovery is
positive
admitting that
here?
there's a problem. viOlet does cancel out Core Hall Carnage. It's the gentleman's agreement between the two players that someone is going to do it so that we never see that map. We did see it a couple series ago, and it was terrible. Actually, we saw it in the last DVZ, and that was weird. That's when Scarlet was like, I think I can attack through this alley. Anyways.
No.
And then Iaguz is going to cancel out Pre on Terraces because that is the Zerg map.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm gonna hammer this one home then and really make you say it again. If Iaguz wins this, is this one of the biggest upsets in the tournament?
This would be
because
the
we've
biggest
seen a
one.
lot.
This would be the biggest one.
The biggest one?
Yeah. What would be bigger than this?
I'm trying to. I'm pretty sure we've had some huge ones, right?
Chan beating Bly.
It's
I mean,
ZvZ, man.
on paper, yes.
ZvZ.
But what a lot of people would tell you is that Cham's actually a GM in Korea on the ladder and is a quite good player. What I think is
pretty
impressive is that a player came from Mexico, traveled here, and beat a European.
Yeah.
That's tough. Although, to be fair, traveling from Ukraine to France is like traveling from Mexico to France, from what I understand. But yeah, that's actually probably the best candidate to be an arguably bigger or same one.
All right, so predictions then. I think it's kind of simple to do this, and I don't think we need to focus too much on it. In control, a name and a score?
I think it's going to be 3-0 viOlet.
Okay.
I want it to be closer, but but I agree. The funny thing about Iaguz is unless, and someone said, I can't take full credit for this, but unless viOlet dances his units in game number 1 and really lights a fire under Iaguz's butt, I think he'll just kind of very casually be like, you know, good paycheck, hit viOlet, I'm dead. And then be dead.
Iaguz said something in his video, like he runs on winning tournaments that I didn't really understand because he don't really win tournaments, and I don't feel like he's going to change there. I feel like he's definitely going to put up a better fight than the 3-0 that happened in Austin, but maybe a 3-2. I'm hoping for a 3-2.
Oh, well.
All right, come on.
Bit hopeful there.
Come on.
I'm gonna go closer to Jeff on this one. I think maybe he pulls one map, maybe. So like maybe a 3-1 viOlet victory.
We don't want a maybe, Nate. We want like it.
Yeah, we need a...
You're sure
Be
thing.
strong.
3-0.
There you go.
Okay. All right, well, thank you very much, gentlemen. You've heard from the experts up here. It's unfortunately meant to be the end of Iaguz here at this tournament. Can he somehow surprise us all? Well, it's time to find out. We're going to go to our commentary team for this one. And of course, it's going to be In Control and Todd.
Thank you, Sean. Todd, you know, I was just thinking, by the way, great segments up here, but how much do you miss Apollo casting? Like, honestly,
a lot.
is that...
And his tutorials in particular. When are they going to... Welcome back, Commander, right?
I know. Did he say that in his tutorials?
I think so.
Oh, my God. All right, well, let's get underway with this, ladies and gents. We're on the main stream. Todd and I had the joy of casting on that B stream, a very interesting series. And again, as always, check out the VODs, check out the replays. There's a lot to be watched here, a lot of good games. But lower right-hand side, representing Australia, it is Iaguz.
Recently joined Team Nuovo. I hope I don't butcher that.
I've never
name.
even heard of that team.
Yeah, it's like a team trying to, I guess, improve Oceanian eSports. I read their Twitter bio, that's what he said.
Oh, good for them. And his opponent, probably the overwhelming favorite, one of the last standing Koreans wanting to take down this tournament from Team Envious. It is viOlet. viOlet, a handsome gent.
Yeah, who was absolutely dominant during these last two encounter over in Austin.
Yeah.
Played fairly standard for the most part. viOlet is one of those Zergs that's very capable of playing roaches, you know, with like burrow and counterattacks and all that, but he also plays Ling, Baneling, Muta very, very well. So it's kind of hard to play against him. Like you have to, you know, put a lot of scouting in. He doesn't really have like a style. Like he was always known for the longest time for his aggression, which you can't really be like, okay, he's going to be attacking a lot. I need to play defensive. It's still TVZ. You need to play the matchup even more so than the opponents in most cases. And here, Iaguz, already having played against viOlet recently, honestly, like just review those games in your head. Think about what went wrong. Try to make the greatest improvements that you can from there and just put up a better fight, try to win that way.
Yeah, Todd, it's interesting because, you know, Iaguz is also a pretty, like once he has a style, once he has kind of a thing that he's going to do, at least in my experience, I haven't seen him change up from that too much.
Yeah.
And with that tournament, and for most tournaments, it's like, yeah, the last tournament, and we're talking about like maybe 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago. No, it was like 5 days ago. It was very recent. We're just coming back from DreamHack Austin. So to make an adjustment on the road, especially for someone like Iaguz, who very well could have, I don't know if he did, but maybe he flew to Australia then to here, or maybe he flew to someone's house or something like that. But the point is, he didn't have a lot of time to really change up whatever it is he's going to be doing. That's going to be rough and going against him. And I remember actually heading into that match at DreamHack Austin where it was like, hey, I was one of the guys who was like, hey, Iaguz has a very good TVZ. I think he actually has a chance to perhaps do some damage here because it's viOlet too, who we're considering kind of shaky and inconsistent these days. But then boy, was I wrong. That series was very one-sided, like you said.
I think you're right in saying that he has a good TVZ, actually. Like that's the thing. He even said it himself. I think my TVZ is good. It's just that viOlet is really, really good. Maybe he just had a one-off series where he was not playing as good. He's going to be able to scout the early Roach War in there. So he knows about that possibility, which if he wanted to be very aggressive, he's definitely going to discourage him. And he also knows about the threats of roaches that could be attacking him as well. And that would, in turn, probably discourage viOlet from actually going for any kind of attack anytime soon.
And our awesome observer there showing that it is a 3CC opening from the Terran player, which against a fast roach timing attack would have a tough time. But the good news is, as Todd pointed out, the Reaper does scout out the Roach Warren, so there's going to be at least the opportunity to try and react.
The lair started pretty quickly behind this here. I wonder if that's for maybe some aggression. Only one more gas is being taken. When speaking to Iaguz, it's funny because he kind of thought that there was a chance that viOlet would all in once, maybe even twice, with like maybe a Nidus one time and like some burrowed Roach another time. So we'll see here how this develops and if viOlet actually wants to go for something like that.
Yeah, and that's what's so cool about this. I mean, you hit the nail on the head. There's actually multiple options for a Zerg. It used to be, oh, fast lair? Well, that's a Mutas, that's Spire. There's nothing else that they're going to do with that. But these days, we've seen a lot of Roach Ravager stuff that you can do off that lair. We've seen
That's
drops.
Some decent damage.
Yeah, of course. And it's actually kind of interesting that Iaguz scouting the Roach Warren is going, I mean, he's actually going to be okay here. Yeah. But a lot of Terrans would have picked up the natural with a third CC and said, okay, I'll wait for a tank or two and defend. But he's actually going to take the quote-unquote greedier approach, and it actually pays off. Yes, he lost some SCVs, but at least he's mining from this natural.
And he's kind of overreacting. He's thinking, I saw roaches, I saw a roach run, I'm going to get tanks, I'm going to make sure I'm safe. If Iaguz doesn't scan soon and realize that it's a Spire, Mutas could put him in trouble there, because I don't think there is any eBay. If they start flying in there, killing SCVs, those Mutas are going to snowball completely out of control.
Yeah.
Dude, our observer is on points.
On point.
And we're linked within.
Well,
through our commentary.
Reaper will pull in and does see the Spire. That's very good again for Iaguz, so he's going to have a chance to throw down that engineering bay and have some form of a reaction.
It's Funka observing for sure.
You think so? I think Funka's for over them, for the O-gaming guys.
To be honest, they both have been doing a very good job. Both Coca and Funka. It's all these car guys.
It might be the same. I'm looking at, we're actually synced up. But to be fair, Todd, there's so many good observers,
I think whoever is observing between Funka and Coca observes for both streams, but I think they listen more to the English stream. I think that's how it works for most of the time. I mean, you saw, we just mentioned stuff and he showed it right after. So
there you go.
I know they're good, but maybe not communicating telepathically over there either. So yeah,
they don't have that
good
advantage.
Job, basically.
Roach speed is now queued up and +1 attack as well on that evolution chamber. So this is kind of viOlet, guys. He's a little bit all over the place. I think some Mutas, maybe none, have actually come out, or maybe a few will, but it's like the Spire gets, okay, so there's the Mutas.
7.
He's not going to really build up on this, and this is kind of also a part of the meta. Like, you don't stick on Mutas anymore just because of the damage that Liberators do to them. But this is going to give him a little bit of map control. It's going to force out those missile turrets you were talking about and allow him to take that third.
Absolutely.
And even fourth, probably.
This really what? No.
That was a weird choice.
What is this?
That was like Scarlet deciding to attack through that channel and really go for it. Like, he didn't lose. If he would have stayed there, I can't. I'm like a dog with a bone. Gets a little bit of damage to those scouts around. He's taking hits from the missile turret, and he's got to be careful because right now it's actually a very unimpressive number of mutalists, and at a certain point it's like, well, I'm not worried about you holding me back with 5 mutas. And he's pretty heavily broadcasting that is it. It's just going to be the 5.
Maybe he's baiting, like he wants to lose them but still do some damage at the same time. Letting Iaguz think he's playing bad so that Iaguz would attack. And there's mass roaches.
The mind games, man.
And actually, the crit spread has been pretty good. It's almost like in the middle of the map on the left-hand side as well, spreading very nicely. So that's going to be something that can help viOlet a lot, get a good engagement down the line. With the speed he's going to gain from that, with the launch pad.
Just then, the fourth base going down, though, which means that the two of these guys are on fairly equal footing. So, I mean, it's been a lot of, tech switches and kind of mind games from viOlet, but the thing to keep track of here is if it doesn't yield pretty severe results, then it's all for naught. This got 6 SCV kills. It's holding back Iaguz for now, but Iaguz is muscling up. Upgrades are kind of finishing up here, and I feel like with Combat Shield completing and a couple of these upgrades going up, we might see a push towards that 4th.
I wonder where Iaguz thinks he's at right now in this game. It must be very confusing for him, because as much as he got a couple of very good scout off, in this case, he's defended some roaches, he's defended some mutas. Right now there is some roaches and some mutas flying and running around his base. So for him to kind of, be able to gauge how much supply there might be up against him, it might be very, very hard. There very well could be, equal supply, but then again, Zer could have a lot more supply, which right now is the case. If he misjudges the situation and moves across the map, he could get caught in one of those really bad fights. I think right now, if he knew what's happening, obviously he shouldn't be attacking. He should be getting more tanks and trying to get a good fight down the line, ideally on his side of the map, but at the same time, he can't give viOlet enough time that he will be able to expand more and take more.
And I mean, viOlet is almost maxed out. Like, that's just what he's been doing, is just churning out units.
He's going to hit the timing.
Yeah, and this is what makes viOlet so scary, is that a lot of Zergs would be just droning up right now and really playing defensive, but viOlet's just always thinking about ending the game. And here he comes. He's going to push forward. Roach is on top of those Marines. Ravage is behind. Tanks not really in position to be picked up, so they're going to get picked off pretty quickly, if I'm not mistaken. One does get picked up, put on that high ground, and Corrosive Bio just shoving back that bio, and this is such a deadly push.
Yeah, I like what Iaguz did, where he moved out and tried to engage really far away so that bio would be used first and he would dodge it. But viOlet was very patient with the Ravagers, and so far he's been able to trade. He killed a lot of SCVs and got a lot of Ravagers left over. Even if he was to be held there, he's dealt so much damage. 76 drones to 45 SCVs, and he's still ongoing.
Yeah, he's still pushing behind this. You can see the rally of Roaches behind it. The third is now exposed without tanks on the high ground. It's just at the mercy of viOlet's decision to destroy it. A lot of SCVs pulled off that natural, so that base too has felt the wrath of this Zerg, and I feel like the end times are here. There is some damage going down in the background as we see some drones are dying, I guess. But here he is, and he's on top of it. Iaguz going to push down the ramp with a few Marauders. He's going to come down. Pretty good reinforcements, actually, so it looks like he might actually clean this up.
Yeah, but the supply difference is still there. 30 SCVs being killed in total. I mean, it's nice to get a few drones, but it's only 2 drones, and he's got those Widow Mines across the map, which should be defended here in the second as well. So that's units that he's going to be throwing away, considering his army deficits, which actually isn't by too much right now. It's 62 army supply for viOlet, 61 for Iaguz. Remember, there are Roaches, There are Roaches, so... And also, 2-2 about to hit for Iaguz. So there could be a big timing here for him to hit and start dropping and to inflict damage. So this might not have done enough.
It might not. It might have done nothing, Todd.
Oh, with the amount of SCVs he killed, it's 80 drones against 45 SCVs. It feels like Iaguz has to be aggressive right now, right?
Exactly, and one of the disadvantages to having just Roach Ravager, of course with access to the Spire, but no current mutas out on the map, if I'm not mistaken, is they have a tough time chasing down the medevac. So yeah, you push out.
Pathogen Glenn started, but it's only now, like it's not gonna be on time, right?
I mean, if the fight turns bad, you just pick up and move somewhere else, and especially on a map like this, but really any map, you attack the fourth. If you want to really get gutsy, you can pick up and speed into the main. I mean, those medevacs are kind of low in health, so maybe you don't do that.
2-2 about to complete, as well as concussive shells. 103 army supply for viOlet, 94 for Iaguz. It's now or never, bro.
Yeah.
If you wait more, it's going to get worse. violet's going to attack again. We could go into some kind of base trade, actually, but right now, viOlet's staying on his side of the map. He's regrouping. I think he knows about the imminent threat that there could be with an attack.
Iaguz with a pretty beefy army, and we talk about army supply, but again, it's the stuff that he needs. It's Marines, Marauders, fighting back the creep tumors there in medevacs. viOlet going to get a little bit cheeky with some Ling counterattacks as well, looking to really double down on this idea. Actually, they both have the similar idea top right, which is kind of funny. And here it is. The army being on the left side means it's out of position.
No, he's going to pull back.
Well, he's going to at least pick off the fourth. He stims in here. Needs to kind of... He's targeting the gases, but you really got to go after the hatch or at least the drones or something. He might not get anything
viOlet
here.
was across the map and about to attack there, and he's going to pull back here because of this. Lynx are going to run by into the main, but it's not really that many of them.
Yeah, they're doing a little bit of light damage.
He should be pretty good
get
for
the hatchery.
Iaguz.
He does get the hatchery. He's going to pick up...
Where's the infested production at? I'm pretty sure that
yet,
by
man.
now he got pathogen vents. He's got a few.
One. Okay. Ling harassed, not getting it done, but does pick off the fourth for Iaguz. And Iaguz starting to look in a pretty good position. 2 medevacs moving down the left side of the map as well. Good production here. It's just been very beefy in army. Supply-wise, of course, viOlet has a slight advantage, but that, again, is in Roach Ravager.
In control, I'm scared. I see a couple investors about to come out. If the money fungal lands, this could end very abruptly here for Iaguz.
There it is. And here comes the corrosive bile. Good night, Sweet Prince. That drop, not successful. But did it win some positioning for this bile push? No, there's more infestors out. Huge fungal lands.
Oh, my.
And where's the corrosive bile? It's going to be coming out. Another massive... Oh, my God. All the AoE, it hits everything. And this could be the end of Iaguz. And just like that, in the blink of an eye,
everything's
he's
green,
in trouble.
Man.
Yeah, I mean, there's a little bit more of Iaguz down below this ramp. He's going to have a Liberator to try and help. And he's actually holding fairly okay, given that...
How are they fighting so hard?
He's fighting hard. He's going to be pushed back, I think.
The supply tells the story here, though. Yeah. viOlet with a massive lead, defending very nicely. And Iaguz maybe not decisive enough. There was like maybe 1 to 2 minutes timing during which he had 2-2 and there wasn't enough infestors to defend against the medevacs yet. I feel like he could have dropped in the main and attacked in multiple places at once, but he delayed that. And then once the infestors I mean, these fungals were like some of the nastiest I've ever seen.
Well, I mean, when the double medevac gets fungal, it's like, okay, that'll happen, because that's like the first he's seen of the infestors, that'll happen. But moving up the ramp and having your entire army it wasn't like they were really spot on fungals. It was like this clump and then that clump, and that was the 2 clumps of the entire army.
Take it, it's yours.
Yeah, that's where it's like, okay, I guess you're gonna have to play a little bit sharper than that in the future. Lings don't get spotted here on the right side, but I guess on that back foot, as Todd said, Supply tells the whole story. It was like, okay, with Roach Ravager, he's ahead by like 10, 15 Supply. Now it's 40 and 50. It's like quite bad.
This is really bad. Like he's gonna fly his main base to another new base, but viOlet behind this. He hasn't been, sleeping. He hasn't been doing nothing. He's getting his Ultralis Cavern. I think that just finished. He's gonna start Ultralis production. Started melee +1 as well. Chitinous plating is gonna be on the way, and I don't think Iaguz is gonna be ready for this, especially since he's really scared to move out right now. He just got fungled completely when he stepped on creep. He's still traumatized from that attack. Probably gonna stay at home for a while and let Ultras just come out.
Traumatized and hurt, but also, he does have a Liberator, and he's like starting to kind of build that up, but he's worried about the Ravagers, which is still out there as well. Let's keep that in mind. He did not kill all the Ravagers, which means Liberators can get picked off if they're not really well secured.
There's so many Ultras in production, man. It's gonna be so hard for Iaguz to win this. More SCV's dying with the nice run by hand. He catches tanks at the same time. viOlet, his multitask is on point. He's looking so good right now.
He is. And it really, kind of the criticism I guess you would rail against viOlet is he's been inconsistent and kind of, there's 2 different violets you can play. There's one that gets like too cheeky and silly and then doesn't get it done. That's not this one. GG's called out. Iaguz has had enough. viOlet played super rock solid. Mega fungals landing, but also really nice aggression. But as Todd pointed out too, defending at the right time as well. Securing those expanding bases, saturating them, and then not overextending. Harassing with Lings was nice, but making sure Ravagers and Fungals are there to keep the mining going. Really well played.
A very action-packed game, by the way. Like the observer at the end here was pointing out how many units that was a lot. And both players, they fought hard, but in the end, it's viOlet.
Doesn't even matter.
A lot better every time. Every time I say in the end, yes.
Kevin's the worst too, because he says he goes in the end, and I'm just like, oh god, in my head I can't stop it. Yeah, but really well played, and tip of the hat too to Iaguz. I thought he was down and out at first, but then he just, with that first attack into the natural, I was like, all right, this guy's dead. 40 SCVs killed, like there's no chance he can come back from this, but he cleaned it up. Had pretty good macro to have a gigantic army afterwards. It's really just those let's call it 3 fungals that cleaned up 6 medevacs and a gigantic worth of bio. It was
not decisive enough though. Like, if you hold this kind of attack, like this massive attack that that the Zerg invested so much money into, and then you 2-2 completes right after, I feel like you should be getting right in there trying to end it, because obviously he's not going to have fungal yet.
Right.
Like this is the best time for you to try and do damage, and not necessarily with attacking with your whole army and trying to end it, but just do like a big doom drop in the main, and then send the reinforcements to like one of the newer bases. And it's going to be so hard, I feel, for the Zerg player to defend. But then again, I mean, these players are pretty good as well. This was the sickest money fungal.
That's 2 fungals, man. And then, I think he does a third one to hold him in place, but the first 2 is what ensnares him.
I even said it, I was like, I'm scared, man, because he just got infested, and he had so many Roach Ravager that I knew that if any fungal landed, everything would just blow up right after.
And of course, to put the defense for the forward, we see everything. But I do agree with you, Todd. Like, the initial double drop going after that base kind of in the middle of the map, I get it. That's a new mining base. That's why you want to clamp down on that. But I like the idea of a double, triple, or even the full doom drop going into the main, getting the army that far away, and then rallying to a mining base like that. Of course, if you get mega fungal in your main, that's really bad, but at least you're trading that for an expansion that's really needed. So, Iaguz is going to kind of evaluate that pretty quickly, though, because we're already into the next game. Let's go ahead and talk about their names a little bit. Top right-hand side, trailing 0-1 in this best of 5, needing your support, coming all the way from Australia. It's Iaguz.
Thank for Team Movo Gaming. Look at that beard, man.
It is the best beard in esports. There's just no question.
He's in Tasteless.
Are
tied together.
Yes. I mean, Tasteless, of course, trying out as a body double for Bear Grylls. We wish him the best of luck. Really trying to expand his career beyond just StarCraft 2. And then Iaguz, of course, failing, but ultimately putting forth the best effort to make his way into Lord of the Rings. I think that is, again, to see these StarCraft 2 people branching out and doing other things is absolutely incredible. Lower left-hand side, dominating game number 1, looking really sharp. One of the final Koreans of the tournament. It is viOlet. From Team Envious, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you're big on the team, and I appreciate that. It was one of my torches for all the years. But now I'm just a cheap shill, so I don't even care anymore. It's like just whoever's giving me the money, you know what I mean? No, I'm just kidding. But Envious, by the way, always a big shout out to them. I love those guys. They're doing a great job. They're building a facility in the States right now to bring esports to a public audience as well and play in front of people. Really cool stuff.
That's pretty damn good.
And they just signed Polt, by the way. Polt's on that team now as well. They're cornering themselves in the American-Korean market. Good for them.
Yeah.
Well, here we are.
If you're Iaguz and you lost 0-3 against viOlet in Austin, and then you just lost that first game in the way he just did, what kind of adjustments do you think he makes? Like, does he maybe try to play aggressive, a little bit more aggressive? Because he's this macro player that we know loves to go into 3-base and just kind of play standard.
Yeah.
It's almost as if he thinks it would be dishonorable. That's the word that they used a lot over in Korea that I thought was hilarious. Dishonorable to cheese.
Yeah. You know, I mean, Todd, that's such a good question. It used to be that you do things like, well, I'm going to mega mix it up. Iaguz in the past would do things like mech in TVZ and Heart of the Swarm. That was something that could happen. And now, from what I can tell from my Terran friends on Twitter, it's not viable at all. So I don't know. I don't know what he does. The one thing I hope he can kind of comfort himself with is it's not like last game he had a 0% chance to win. He held off that attack, and he had a pretty beefy army, like you were talking about.
Yeah.
Supply-wise, they weren't that far off. In fact, army count-wise, he was right there with him. And he could have done something at that moment in time. Of course, that door got slammed shut with those fungals, and that's when the game was just completely out of reach. But
the problem with viOlet is that if you're a Terran, it feels like he's not the Zerg that particularly skips on the Roach Warren. On the contrary, he gets it. So it's not like you can be thinking, if I'll go for like a big Hellbat attack and try and surprise him and burn all of his drones, he's going to have the Roaches almost all the time, or like most of the time. And it's a big gamble. Like if you get it wrong, you just kind of like fall really far behind and maybe lose right out. So it must be really hard for Iaguz to, you know, pick out a build that he thinks will put him ahead up against viOlet. So he just kind of plays standard, but then viOlet is just so good in those standard games where it goes for longer.
Yeah,
he's reached a little bit of an impasse right now.
We saw so many mind games from him too. It was like really fast Roach Warren.
Yeah.
Made a few roaches, but as you said, that could have been for Hellbats or anything. Then he makes a Spire, but only makes 5 or 6 mutas, doesn't do super big damage to it, but could come back to it. Like that's just, viOlet's all over the place. I do like this from Iaguz though, going for the pretty quick third CC. And on a map like this, it's fairly defensible, by the way. There's some maps where like taking that third really exposed you. Look no further than Frozen Temple, where we just came from.
He's going to get tanked straight away, by the way. I was a little bit surprised to see that barracks being lifted up, and already a bunker up the ramp as well. Like this is very highly defensive. Like it feels like against most other Zergs, Iaguz wouldn't go to these lengths here to make sure that he's safe, but he's playing viOlet, somebody who rushed him in the last game when he fell behind, losing a couple SCVs already right from the start.
Yeah, I didn't see if he saw anything to make that bunker. I think you're exactly right. He's just like, well, I'm playing viOlet. I'm going to do this.
Yeah,
and he took a third CC. So he's like, you know, I mean, I'm being greedy and he's viOlet. So this is like the happy middle ground.
And funny enough, viOlet this time around, no Roach Warren just yet. Just drones, some Zerglings. Baneling Nest going down, so maybe Link Baneling Muta here.
I mean, at least as the like map control variety, but yeah. Baneling Nest is just okay to make it any time here. But yeah, you're right. It could be that classic HOTS and Wings of Liberty composition.
And, you know, I mentioned how he can play both styles very well as well, too. That's what makes him so dangerous. You know, a player who has one style is predictable. And being predictable in StarCraft 2 is never a good thing, because then people can come to the right conclusions. They can figure out how to play against you and how to beat you. But with viOlet, you never know. And so far, even in terms of mind games, you know, like Iaguz opened defensively. There's no aggression headed his way at all. So he opened overly defensive for nothing, invested into a bunker, you know, that did nothing for him.
Sure. Just a bunker, though. You know, I don't want to come down too hard on him. Like, if it was like 3 bunkers and 5 missiles...
He made 2 tanks, though, and he's facing mutas.
Okay.
Like, this is less than ideal.
Fair enough. Absolutely.
He'd be happy if there was roaches now.
Absolutely.
Or maybe not, because they're still pretty damn good.
Roaches are still pretty damn good, that's right. But this Overseer's going to pull in here and see just a big swell of production. He can probably assume that means that there is a third then in play. Yep, as he scouts it as well. You can see that. Okay, there's the changeling. Thank you, Mr. Observer Person. Appreciate it. Now, both players playing fairly passive, though, and there is the mutas, and it is 1-1 melee upgrades, which, of course, can mean fast high, but we don't see an infestation pit just yet. And would love to see it. Okay, the 4th does just now go down for viOlet as well. Need to get that going really quick.
The creep spread, it's not too bad, too. Much like in the previous game, you know, he's walking on that.
Yep.
Getting towards the middle of the map here. That's not the max range, though, is it, here with the Cryptumers? I thought you can drop them a little bit further.
It's close to it, at least. I think he's just more concerned with just spamming him out there, I guess.
Poor effort. I disagree.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Let's just find something to criticize, please. Ugh, tired of praising him. But what are we going to do here, Iaguz? You're muscling up. He's got the 1-1 melee up. I mean, this is by the way, Iaguz TVT, or TVZ, excuse me. This is what I've seen from him a lot. Very Marine tank-centric, very macro-oriented. It's not like he has bad micro, but he's a big macro beast.
Yeah.
And he's going to push out here in a second. Just the 1 missile turret so far. No missile turret on the production, but this is kind of also the new age of ZvT. It's not like 15 mutas show up, and if you don't have missile turrets there, you're just never producing again. It's just harass like this.
viOlet is so eager, actually, to get right in there and do some damage with these mutas. Last game already, you know, even he suicided like a couple of them too eagerly, but this time around he's actually done some good damage. 3 SCVs died, he's targeting one of those refineries. He forced the steam from the entire bio there. That's so many hit points lost for really not much, because they're not even going to kill any of the mutas. And now, centrifugal hooks complete. The creep spread is still ongoing and it's still pretty good. Iaguz just like, it almost feels, even though like, you know, he's playing standard and nothing's out of the ordinary, other than the fact he played kind of defensive, it just feels like he's not able to find any attack that ever works against somebody like viOlet.
Well, this will be the test of that theory, my friend, as we have 2-2 melee queued up and some more mutas coming out. So now we are getting to that critical number where it's like, okay, if you're not going to do anything, you're going to be in trouble. Lane counter coming into the natural here. There's not a lot of units. Widowmine trying to be a betrayer, but it doesn't quite get there. So still some Marines coming up, but no missile turret here, by the way. And so it forces Iaguz to come back home. He does clean up the Zerglings.
And he's teamed everything again. It's going to take forever for these medivacs to heal all of that. He's bought himself some more time behind this. He can start a lot more links, Bane links. Does he have a macro hatch yet? Because he has a lot of damn supply. Yeah, he has one. Of course he does. It's viOlet. Like he's playing so good, man. The production is insane right now for him.
Yeah, a lot. It's just going to be, you were right, Todd. It's mutilating Bailey, setting up for that counterattack once more.
He's buying so much time, and he's doing this so well as well. Like, what's the Iaguz supposed to do? Like, drop down 5 bunkers?
Doesn't go off. But that's most of the Lings. So while we're singing the praises, where's the Banelings? Because that's actually what he's going to really need to deal with this.
Here they are.
That's a lot of Banelings. Here they come. They're going to still fight on the creep, going for the surround. They get the bio. Some decent splits, but can the connections land in? And they do clean up most of that bio. The Milo's going to come in from the flank as well and isolate and kill.
Oh,
good rally. He's not paying attention. He's losing a lot of the mutas.
A first big mistake here by viOlet. Iaguz now very, very close in supply. Yeah. In terms of army, he's just one difference once again. What do you know? And 2-2 will complete about at the same time. And actually, he pushed back the creep very well. A lot of these streamers died, and I'm not sure they're being replaced right now. And this will be the timing where, for a long time, Iaguz will be on 2-2 against viOlet's 2-2.
Yep. Sorry, my brain froze. When you said 2-2, I was thinking of like literally the ballerina costume 2-2.
What?
I pictured both the players fighting in 2-2s, which was completely irrelevant. But anyways, I do agree. He should have kept up the pressure, especially after all those Banelings died. There's a very good case that the Zerg doesn't then also have 20 Banelings behind that as well. I don't think you shove forward, but you set up outside that creep and keep fighting back the creep timbers. Here comes the counterattack. Ling, Muta going to show up here. The Widowmine didn't seem to do much damage.
Yeah, he unburrowed.
He's got to come back.
Friendly fire, and viOlet sniped that very nicely. And now viOlet is looking to try and do some more damage and buy some time, which he will achieve. Hive even starts in the meantime.
Yeah, and he's going to trash this third base. No fourth for Iaguz, and Iaguz has to bring his entire army back over here. He almost loses the orbital, in fact. It's not a done deal just yet. It does get set fire. And as Todd said, I mean, so much time being bought. The Hive's going to go down behind this.
A lot of SCVs are going to die here, actually. If that turret eventually goes down, but right now...
That is the Terminator of missile turrets.
What the hell? How many mutas do you
And then he stops repairing it, and that poor guy's like, why? Why did you leave me? And that base is trashed now as well. And you know what? Iaguz has the choice made for him. He's like,
it's go time.
Yep, he has to.
Enough is enough.
Upgrades perhaps under attack. He's going to go for the orbital, actually. And with Zerglings coming into the base, oh my gosh, the depot did not get up in time on top of the production line.
Came all the way from down under, man.
Look at the army.
Go for the fight.
They got to survive this big time. Oh, the Baneling hits are gigantic. I mean...
Yeah, there's still quite a bit left over.
Yeah, but...
Hey, wait, it's 79 army supply against 74, 69 against 72, so it's still very even.
It's a huge difference.
But
Five
look,
supply is gigantic.
The army of viOlet is across the map.
Yeah.
So it won't have enough to defend back at home. Do we get a base trade here? A complete
I
base trade?
believe. Does he
Unless,
have?
like, these Bailings need the connections here. Is he paying attention? Iaguz, you got one job, bro. Oh, he
those
picked
poor
up all the
guys.
Marines.
They got forgotten. Yeah, but he's.
That
Oh,
was
he's
weird.
dropping
He,
him.
he could still have split the
No,
Mauler.
this is super over, dude. They're super dead. Yeah, I mean,
Sickest hype, Jeff.
that's what they bring me in for, man. That's what they pay me the big bucks.
I want you to do the play-by-play every time.
Super
from now.
dead. Get out of here. Interesting choice. I mean, so the thing is that was kind of a problem here is Iaguz at first has a single Widow Mine and like 5 Marines as his like anti-counterattack defense. The first time it comes in, okay, it defended. But then viOlet kept setting up over there with like 30 Lings and 20 Mutas and just kept hammering in. And Iaguz never added bunkers or missile turrets or something. Now, I know as a Terran player, you can't like make the Great Wall of China and build planetary fortresses behind it and tanks. I'm not asking for that level of defense, but I'm saying,
Yeah. What do you think about
counterattacking? Stop it.
one Sensor Tower at the third to see these attacks coming and a huge wall to make sure that you
Sensor
raise it
tower?
before the Zerg comes?
I mean, yeah, anything. Sensor tower, missile turret, like 3 missile turrets,
You know,
a bunker.
All Terrans right now
Depot in?
watching this, they're like, stupid Protoss. You can't afford a Sensor Tower right now.
I know.
You need more Marines to push across the map.
Next, they'll say add a Thor or 2, those cretins. Ugh. But it was the problem for Iaguz. Like he kept, I thought with the initial split of his army, it could have been better, obviously, but it was a pretty okay trade, and the reinforcements behind were very good. But then he came up and was like, let's do it. And he's like, oh, we're being counterattacked, let's go back home. And every time he went back home, he was losing SCVs, he was never taking a fourth. Like it was
there was
hurting
a few
him.
times he was mid-map too. Like when you have to come all the way back from mid-map, you know like something's going bad. Like because he's gonna take a lot of time for you to come back. Eventually you're gonna clean up, and here we see that last big attempt here from Iaguz where he actually had almost as much army, but just not able to deal with the Bailings, to be honest. His macro, I think, has been rather underwhelming. You know, running into fungals, letting these Bailings hit big time in both games.
And that's what, to be honest, it kind of makes it hard for me to,
just in that game,
to be super hopeful about the big comeback or something like that. Like it seems to be Iaguz. He's like, no, I'm going to out macro viOlet, but viOlet keeps being on par with him macro-wise, but then being smarter about counterattacks, smarter about switching up his strategies. And it's like, well, I guess I don't know. I mean, what are you hoping to accomplish here? Like, are you hoping viOlet just plays vastly beneath you because nothing you're doing is outsmarting him or outmaneuvering him?
It kind of reminds me of, actually, like to see these games right now, reminds me of Cass. Like a macro beast who could get more units out than anybody, but then when he was like on a high unit count, didn't really have the best of macros. You know, always got stormed by Protoss or got hit by, you know, big Bailing hits and stuff. So you definitely need to have like a good balance of micro to macro in StarCraft 2. And so far, in terms of macro, it's been there, I think, for Iaguz, but his control in some of these fights not good enough just yet.
I would have to agree. So it's, you know, we've been kind of calling for this. Like, is he gonna shake it up? Is he gonna change things? Is he gonna try something different? Well, we'll have to see as we enter into game number 3 here. In the lower left-hand side, wearing the red trunks from Australia, it's Iaguz. Something to that effect. I know that I'm getting tweeted that's not how you pronounce his name, but guess what, guys? His name's basically an alien language, so it's fine. However I say it,
you know,
fine.
His nickname is his last name backwards, right? His last name is Zugai.
Is it really?
Yeah,
Nice.
Ethan Zugai,
I like that. It's super clever.
which I probably butchered as well because I'm French.
Yeah. How do you feel about guys that see? Look at I'm not going to detract too much, but your name is Yon, and you picked the name Todd as your alias. And I think that's cool. Like people who are like, "Hi, my name is Bob," or you can call me my online handle, which is Bob14. And it's like, wow,
My nickname has nothing to do with the real name Todd, though.
really?
Oh, yeah.
Nice. It's like an abbreviation, or
Yeah, it is.
I did not know that. His opponent, by the way, also with a super awesome original name, because his name is not viOlet.
The French stream right now is going, what the hell? We already introduced him.
Oh, that's totally fine.
These guys are way
That's
off saying,
totally fine.
well, you know what? The English stream is pretty important too.
Yeah, and if they wanted,
And
you
we
know
can do
what?
what we want. If they have a problem, they can come and talk to you about it.
There's something about the English stream because all the French players have been eliminated. So maybe it's
Whoa.
there. You go.
I'm still there.
That's right, Todd. You'll be the last standing Frenchman again. You get those jokes like I did for all those years. Okay,
By the way, you talked about how the winner of this will move on to face Showtime, who showed some pretty good things against Zerg. I mean, it's not like he aced his opponents, but he got the wins in the end, and that's what counts. So if viOlet was to win there, definitely would be nice to see Showtime in yet another PVZ.
Man, I'll tell you what, though, like, I agree, and he did show some good stuff, but hopefully someone or himself or a friend pulled him aside and was like, all right, man, I don't know what's going on, but we gotta talk about some different things. Like, he started to show killer instinct. Like, the build order in Game 5 was sick from Showtime. That was a really great choice. And then, of course, his game on Invader, I thought was, or no, excuse me, it was Ruins of Indian. I thought his decision-making there was really impressive, but the other games, it was like, if you do that against viOlet, viOlet's gonna make you look silly, as we're kind of seeing in this series, where Iaguz is not playing really bad. Like, we're being critical of micro mistakes, but that's because viOlet's punishing them in so hard.
Like, I mean, everything he's done was so good. The crease spread allowed him to do that.
Yes.
The engagement, the timing, he got the
army
infestors
positioning.
map number 1. Yeah, absolutely everything.
Yeah, and that's the thing about StarCraft. It's like the beauty and the curse is when you're playing someone really good, you do something that's like not that dumb, but they make it look so stupid. Yeah. And then some guy tweets you like, you're an idiot. Why'd you go for Colossus when clearly Storm was the better choice? And you're like, man, it wasn't that bad of a choice. Like, yes, it was.
What league are you in?
Anyways, enough about my past. Reaper opening here for Iaguz. Is he going for the third CC again? It looks like he might not be. He's going to shake it up a little bit. We've been kind of calling for this. Bunker already going down at the natural.
A quickest team here, and Marine Steam Pack attack with some Hellions here potentially.
All right.
Could be something good, unless he's just a lot of Marines, and then he gets to Medivacs and gets like double Medivacs.
16 Marines, 2 Medivacs.
Yeah. You know, that's the part of the game where in our cast, you can tell neither of us play turn.
No, I know that attack, man. I called it. 16 Marines, 2 Medivacs. That used to be a huge class in Heart of the Swarm.
Especially like on a map like this, like by default, you're close by air, like so to speak.
They're funny. I read your note, production, and I chuckle to myself.
Who gave this?
One of the production people. They want us to hype them up more. Oh, man. You silly gooses. Gets an Overlord here, though, and that's pretty good, because that's one of the Overlords that's watching the airspace that would be for drops. Of course, it should get replaced, but that's the beginning of a good thing there. I do like Iaguz changing it up, by the way.
Yeah, but actually, I like it, and I feel like right now, situation-wise, this could be very good, because look at viOlet's base. He's going for a fairly quick Spire. I think he has no idea. Okay. I don't think there is a Baneling nest. I didn't see it yet. If there are no Banelings against a lot of Marines plus Medivacs dropping in his base, this could just be a build or the win. And I know I'm hyping this a lot right now. Todd. And usually when I do this, the player gets shut down. But right now, I'm really feeling it in control.
Well, Todd, to make up for the player introductions, we're going to blow this up when these Marines land, man. This
completely
is
out of proportion. I'm counting on you, Jeff.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Let's make production.
We're going to drown the French in our pride and joy here. Here come the Medivacs. Can we get a zoom in on this? Can Iaguz take a map? Well, first it's going to be a counterattack. The bunker there. Overlord spots. He says, yo, Cerebrate, they're coming. There's no Baneliness. They're going to boost in here. They land on top of that Overlord. But the Zerglings are across the map. It's just drones and queens. They're coming back. Can they make it back in time? It's going to be really close. The Marines are moving into the base. They're going on top of the base. They're stimming. They're taking drugs at the moment in time, which is actually kind of good for you guys. You're going to shoot the drones. They're going for the queen. The Zerglings coming in, but there's no Baneling.
There's nothing.
Holy shit, he's doing. He killed the Overlord and the drones.
Banelings start now.
The Banelings, it's too late, Todd. There's not enough time, and Mules are coming out and dying as they come out. viOlet, your dreams are crushed. The lamentations of your women can be heard all the way in Australia from here in France, and it's gonna happen. There's the Banelings, but they're slow. Picked off by perfect micro from this foreign player. JJ's call out! Wow. I have had multiple StarCraft 2 excitement orgasms in that cast. That was amazing. Iaguz with a bob of his head. He knows what he did. He knows what he's done. Wow. That's what it's like to be a French commentator. It feels good, actually. I like that.
You just run out of stamina very fast.
Oh, I'm done. That's it. Yeah, I'm super jet lagged. That's all I got.
That was pretty darn good. And I'm not just talking about the cast. Like
thank you.
The build selection here from Iaguz, impeccable. And after you get shut down, you know, in 2 standard games, like in game number 1 and 2, things are going bad for you. You're opening defensive. It's just the opponent's not being aggressive. Picking a build like this and getting an easy win, like he just did, definitely could switch the momentum around here. Iaguz is, is wide awake, just like after that first game against Huck.
Yeah. I know. I like it too. It was a little bit funny because it's just like the map has such the distance between the two mains is very short. And viOlet has just been counterattacking the whole time. He's like, oh, that's what it's like to have units in your base when you're not ready for it. Oh. It was a build order win, but a good choice by Iaguz changing up the pace, by the way, because the first 2 games was him like triple CC, bunker ahead of time, missile, like very defensive and like, no, let's out macro viOlet. Maybe that's not the winning case here, and he's going to go ahead and take that map off the back of a brutally fast 16 Marine double medevac drop. That's what he's going to do. And look at this. Can we slow it down? Watch this. He's about to pick off 3 banelings, and this is what makes my little foreigner heart palpitate. We might even get to it because this Zerg's so dead. The highlight might not even get to it.
Oh, I think
we're coming up on it. Get ready.
We slowed it down now. That's the problem. We slowed it down
This
too
is
early.
a good observer. He knows what's coming. Broodlings can't get the job done. It's got to be banelings. Iaguz knowing this.
Yeah, about to hatch. He was only 3 too.
Everyone,
so
get ready. Get on your feet.
These needed massive connections too. And even then, he still would have been in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
Okay, basically one baneling needed to kill all of these Marines.
1, 2, 3, boom! That was it, man. Wow. Save that for the highlight reel when 3 banelings got shot down by those 16 Marines. Stunning.
And everybody remembers that one game Iaguz won before losing 1 and 3.
Exactly. He's like, all right, now let's fall back on the 3 CC opening and really slow it down here. All right, so we want to. This note says, okay, I got you. I got you.
Were gonna read it.
No, I don't put them that far out. Introducing the players, hailing from Australia. It is Iaguz.
It said in hype. I think
shit.
they meant as part of the intro.
Yeah, I just read the really clearly introduce them part. Well, let me bring the hype with viOlet then, but also pronouncing them very well. Hailing from Korea, taking a loss on the chin from the bearded bandit, dwarven man that is Iaguz. It is from Team Envious, viOlet. Man, this mic is not, I'm sorry, guys, on stream. I can hear it popping and stuff like that. We're not supposed to be this loud.
Maybe it doesn't go out like this, though.
How do the French guys do it then? Yeah, they're mega loud. Is their mics popping?
I don't think
Probably.
so.
No? Okay.
They are, considering they're shouting in every cast, probably not. It's okay, Jeff. I liked it.
Guys, I just want you to know I'm trying. I'm trying to get the hype out there.
Trust me, we get it.
The effort's there.
Okay, look at the positions. Do they remind you of anything?
Yeah.
It would be funny if he does the same thing and like wins the same way.
I would do it,
What's
Todd.
up? It's 2-2.
I'd kind of double blind it. I would do it. Because in Todd, we talked about this on the B stream where we were casting there. This is where I always failed. Because in my head, I'm like, no, of course you don't do the same build twice. But then there's that other voice that's like, Jeff, they wouldn't expect it again. And you're like, nah. And then you do the same build, and then they absolutely shut it down. And everyone on the forum's like, what idiot does the same build twice? But then you do it, and they're not ready for it. And you crush them, and they're like, how brilliant was it to do the same build twice?
Yeah.
I hate it.
If you get it wrong, though, it looks ridiculous.
That's what I'm
the
saying.
thing with this kind of thing.
That's why I'm a commentator. It's so much safer here. I can make all the guesses, and if I get something wrong, they're like, well, at least he's funny. There's
So far, it's completely standard, though. Here, the factory started, the reactor on the barracks for that to be swapped, and Helion's production to start. If you wanted to go for that, probably going to be as well. So let's go back to that 3rd CC. I mean, it's been so successful, right?
Oh, jeez. Absolutely not.
And the bunker, the blind bunker as well. What has Iaguz scouted? Did he scout anything?
No, but I mean...
Nothing, yeah, that's why.
To your kind of in defense of what you're saying now, but to go back to what you said, ironically, like, you're playing viOlet. Like, the blind bunker is not the worst idea. There is going to be lings there. Even that last game where he crushes him with 16 Marine medevac, there was a Zergling counterattack, and that was part of the reason why he crushed him. If he doesn't have that bunker, that actually dislodges the natural. And of course, viOlet still loses the game, but who knows? If he holds off with a couple of banelings, it gets closer.
I wonder if maybe we could see something like an elevator there, because he's going for the starport very quick. Like there's a number of options. If Iaguz wants to go for Liberator, he can do that. That's actually pretty good as well. Imagine how short the rush distance is from his main to the Zerg main mineral line. That's like really short.
There it is, Todd. Todd, I'll tell you what. You keep saying you're not a Terran player, but you're also predicting everything 100%. Whereas Nathanius was getting things crushingly wrong.
Really?
Yeah. Well, probably. I mean, we couldn't
hear him.
Play
we can only assume.
Yeah, the percentage game is strong with this one. A lot of Hellions coming out, and this is a little bit different. In Heart of the Swarm, this was 100,000% the standard with Reapers. no longer really the case. Speed already finished here from our amazing observer. We can see that. And just the 2 bases from viOlet. So, you know, we were talking about the aggression of our Terran player, Iaguz, here, but really, well, okay, the 3rd base is being thought of here. What is viOlet cooking up? Is it just going to be Spire? Really standard? I mean, he opened up a little bit differently.
Yeah, definitely seems like it could be. I wonder, like, that Evo seems a little bit, okay, the Evo, like, made me wonder if it could be Roaches, and he starts the Roach one just now, actually. So I guess it's just going to be Roach.
There's no armory,
here.
right? It's not Hellbats.
No.
Okay.
It's going to be a few cheeky shots here from that Liberator on, how many? I guess he covers like 3 mineral patches into this. And then, oh, the big Hellion run by to the natural
Creep Tumor.
What?
What did that Creep Tumor ever do to you, viOlet? Well, it's fine. He's got speed, he's got the Queens, and he's on Creep, so he's going to be able to hold that off quite nicely.
I didn't see there was this many links for a second. I thought that the Hellions were going to be able to do some
they all
damage
died,
there.
actually.
Carapace level 1 starts here. I wonder if viOlet's maybe thinking about aggression because of, you know, the map and the way the 3rd base works. He's afraid of playing a longer game against Iaguz on this map, even though so far he's been successful. Like in this game, he's already taking quite a bit of damage. 6 drones have already died, Jeff, and he's not even mining from the main right now. He's lost a lot of mining time.
Well, it's a Liberator. It's going to kill everything, but it is also going to die here. But 6 drones in the lost mining time, as you pointed out, Todd, definitely well worth it. A nice attack.
Is he on 3 gases? Yeah, 3. Okay.
Yep, just a 3. Now, where do we follow this up with Iaguz? Taking a 3rd on this map can be tough. It kind of puts separation between your natural and your 3rd, no matter where you take it. Of course, in these base positions, it's a little bit better for options, but he's going to have to think about the counterattack game again.
Yeah, I think he's going to take the forward one, probably, like maybe put like 1 bunker or something there, and then just start rolling units across the map and be aggressive. But not necessarily very soon. I mean, 1-1's only going to start now, so it means like he's in for the long run. He doesn't want to commit to big attacks. And I can't really blame him. I mean, viOlet, even though he took some damage, he's somebody who I think is very hard to kill unless you completely catch him off guard, which a lot of the time is going to be very hard. It happened last game, but it will happen only once in like maybe 15 games or something, you know?
Yeah, agreed.
Burrow starting, by the way. Iaguz even mentioned this to me, the possibility of playing against viOlet, going for some kind of Burrow and tunneling class attack down the line. I don't think he started. Oh, there it goes. Boom!
Todd, you're on top of it, man.
Well, I mean, he said it to me.
Yeah,
but it was Iaguz that said it to me, so it means like right now, he might already be aware that this could be happening, which definitely will help because it is happening. So if he gets ready for it.
I'd love to see, like you said, sensor towers, which of course doesn't see the burrowed roaches, but it sees, you know, maybe them thinking about it, or it kind of zones them out and slows it down. Missile turrets, of course, as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, without missile turrets, you would take so much damage here from distance. Since he has not much information, and viOlet in the past has gone roaches into mutas, and right now, Iaguz, I mean, having very limited information, he's just going to get a bunch of turrets without really knowing what he's up against. Better safe than sorry, right?
Yep. He's building his production right there, too, which is a little bit interesting.
Would be funny, actually, if TLO was on the desk and you say, better safe than sorry, right? He'd be like, no, I disagree.
Well, to be fair, if you said anything on the desk with TLO, he will disagree.
Better sorry for me.
Yeah, I don't agree with this, of course. The third base, by the way, is super undefended, and there we're waiting for the tunneling claws. Oh my goodness!
Actually, do you think he lets him walk past,
or on top of him? No, he's gonna pop up on top of him. Do it.
Lets him walk past.
Well, okay.
What's the point of? Because then he would just pick up. So now you can just counter attack, catch the Terran off guard, start killing SCV, snowball out of control, and win the game.
There you go.
Boom.
That's the hope. Here he comes. viOlet already up 2-1.
Oh,
Can he do the damage? Well,
there are turrets a little bit all over the place. How does he spread out the roaches? It's all going to be about how many units there are back at home for Iaguz and how quickly he reacts to this. He needs to minimize the losses.
Yeah.
There's no turret in the natural.
I know.
Actually, I thought there was at least one. Oh, that's such a big deal.
He still doesn't see this. Is he doing any damage to the drop? What's the drop doing out there?
Do the music, Jeff.
Oh, it's already in my head. It's just so painful.
There's a turret in the main,
now
but SCVs are going to start dying, Jeff, and I'm really worried for Iaguz
well,
here.
There's a lot of units, and to be fair, they're kind of, the roaches are in a clumped up space here. A lot of SCVs are dying, so the damage is done. I'm not trying to say that this is not doing anything.
Look at that number on the left with the SCVs dying. It's just going to keep on rising, I think.
And they're all spread out, by the way, too, so that like a scan's not going to eliminate these roaches. In fact, Iaguz is leaving. Hello, what? Yeah. They're still there, man. They don't teleport out.
viOlet got a bunch of gas as well across the map, and Pathogen Glance is on the way.
Yeah.
We have every reason here to be worried for the Australian player who's still trying to defend here back at home, but Oh, he lost 17 SCVs. That's so much. That's 57 drones against 44 SCVs. Sure, he's got the mules, but the production of viOlet, by the way, this series has been unreal. Like, not missing a beat with the injects, always so far ahead in supply with the roaches.
Yep.
It's like Stefano in his prime over here. Like.
viOlet is very good with the roaches. There's that missile turret, and they spot the bad news, which is that there's still more roaches inside the main, so yet more SCVs will die here. And Todd, like, for me, this roach harass is nice, but it would be pretty empty. Like, just pure roaches to follow it up wouldn't be that impressive. But the fact that he's about to make a lot of infestors probably is the shutdown. It's the like, okay, I've defended, I've cleaned it up, I'm fine, I'm on 3 bases, so let's push out. Fungal, 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 oh, GG. You know, like, that's what I'm horrified of.
And he's even getting a +2 missile. Like, it's not even like, you know, he goes for mass roach as an all-in, like most Zergs would in his situation. Starting the hive as well. viOlet knows he's got everything covered. He's going to have fungal, ravagers, potentially as well. Lots of roaches. He starts a hive and keeps his options open here for more tech and more upgrades down the line.
Yeah. And
what is he going to add, actually?
Roaches in the base.
What do you think? Like, when you go for like mass range like this with missile upgrades, would he still transition into ultras, you think, and get some armor and melee upgrades?
The nice thing is you just go into like Spire and just add Broodlords, and sure, they're not really well upgraded, but they're going to be supported by, you know, Queens and maybe Hydras or something like that. Or even Roach Hydra Infestor. That's something we've seen from viOlet in the past. But I think he thinks he's just going to end it before that. Like the hive is for Vipers.
Blinding Cloud Fungal.
Yep.
That's totally unrealistic, actually. I never see it versus Terran, which, to be honest, in this game wouldn't be too bad. Like, if you can land it, that's the real challenge, right?
Is under attack.
I can't believe there are still roaches burrowed all over the place, by the way. Like, how is this even possible?
There's just so much time being bought. And Iaguz has to know that. I mean, it's not like you can just leave your base and that's rough, but we go back to the mistake you said, Todd, where he says to you before the series even starts, he's like, I think there'll be some burrow roach stuff going on, and then has 0 missile turrets throughout all of his bases. Maybe it's not that,
he had some, but he didn't have it in the one place he needed.
I think he has none,
exit of his natural. No, he had one in the main, I think, no?
I don't think so. He built that one, but I could be wrong. But here's the big drop.
His cavern on the way, by the way.
Oh, the fungals, don't do it. Get out, get out. Oh. Okay, so that medevac was the mostly empty one. That's an acceptable loss.
To be honest, given all things, supply-wise, Iaguz is not doing too bad. But remember, that was the case in the first map.
Yeah, that's what you said last time.
I did mention, though, that Fungal was very scary. And here it still is. The crease spread was slowed down at some points. It's not like, I kind of feel like, you know, if he was Scarlet, it'd be right across the map right now, knocking on the Terran's base. But
Ultra's Cavern, by the way. So it's going to be 3 armor, and then, of course, the Chitinous Plating, they get up to the max armor. Just now the +1 melee, but it's the armor that made Ultras really scary. It's not necessarily the damage output, which is really nice as well. It's just that they never die.
Having Infestors and Fungal and Ultras is like the dream.
Yeah.
If you can reach that against, you know, this huge chunk of bio and land the green stuff on them.
Scans, trying to see if there's any spotter infestors out there for the Mega Fungals, but even
look at the army supply, Jeff. 136 to 118. There is a good opportunity here for Iaguz to do damage if he does not get completely fungal and crushed in the big fight.
Yeah, well, it's got to happen now. Ultras are about to come out. And this would be before Chitinous Plating. This would be before +3 armor. So this would be the weakest Ultras he could possibly hope to face. And, I mean, he's barely mining for the third. But to your point, again, it's just down to this army. He needs to make use of this army now. Going to try to attack this upper base while defending his third. He still has a beefy army.
Very well, actually. Like, this is already doing quite a bit of damage. Needs to look out for the fungal. That's the one thing that could cost him big time. The first Ultra is on the way. There is still a little bit of... Oh, no, actually, that's not the first. There's quite a few up.
Todd, look at that army.
Show me that kiting.
I don't know, dude.
Do not get fungled. Warning, I repeat. Do not get fungled.
That's a fungal. And behind this, that's a mate. It's just massive.
Take it away, Jeff.
There's not even hype in this. It's just like you're dead. You're super dead. He's going to load up, try to get out of here.
Not again. He's still got more army supply somehow. Well, if he can, maybe he can kite his way out of this one.
He needs the base trade.
Yeah. And he's doing that too. He's doing a big drop. I think he loaded
up
a couple of
Ultras. A single Ultra is holding off a double attack like that. He's dropping inside the main. Kill the Ultras Cavern. Kill everything you can. I think his third's been picked up and removed, or maybe it's still mining, actually.
Come on, Iaguz.
Yeah, he's still mining.
Fight the good fight. 121 army supply for the Aussie. 91 for viOlet right now.
He desperately wants that Ultras Cavern. He's going to go for it, but he doesn't have... I think he only has the one Marauder there. I think he still will get it. Oh, it's... Wow, okay, the army's sharking around out there. He will get it. Load up, get out. They do.
Wow. Really nicely done. And this pack of units is always the same. I feel like these guys have been there like 15 minutes. It's the same guys. They come in, they kill 2 drones, pull back, come back again.
Okay.
Ultra's Cavern restarted, but Iaguz is doing a lot of damage in many places and saving a lot of these units, except for these guys who finally go down here. Adrenal Glands now starts, and some Liberators are gonna start now.
Iaguz is starting to put it together. Like, he has mined out his main and natural, and he's only down to the third, which is pretty exposed.
Somewhere, right?
Well, yeah, he needs to take a fourth base and start thinking about that. But he's done a good job. He stopped the mining bases. He picked off the Ultra's Cavern, so he bought himself a short little reprieve.
3-3 never started for him, though. That's that's definitely a bad thing here that he's got. That is not good going for him, I guess.
I'm still so worried. It's like one fungal away from this all being for naught, by the way. Like, that army just melts.
Yeah.
Every army melts to fungal and corrosive bile, by the way. It's a sick, sick combo. Like, the Ultras are scary, but fungal corrosive bile shuts down any number, any size of bio Terran army.
And it looks like Iaguz might actually be wanting to attack with his entire army here, maybe in one place. Maybe a couple cheeky drops over there to go for whatever's coming out of the hatchery.
That was nothing. They killed the queen.
Calm down, Maynard. He's grouping up with everything. That's very dangerous. Against Infestors, like, in terms of drops, like, there is not much going on right now. I guess if he can synergize very well with the Liberators, but I mean, there is enough Ravagers that he could snipe these from afar. Look at this.
Yeah, 10 more drones died there by the Widow Mines, I believe.
It doesn't even unsiege that. What are you doing, Iaguz? You know there is that many Ravagers. Don't go through that choke.
Well, now he doesn't have the Liberators.
Away.
Oh, he's got 2 Liberators. He's gonna stem up right there. He has to spread. The fungals aren't coming in. The corrosive bile knocks out the Liberators. Good concave here. Is it enough? The Ultras are starting to melt, but there's 3 on the bottom.
DPS for Iaguz, and the fungal is so late as well. He's gonna kite his way out of this one. I think in control. He's out of fungals.
There's no fungals. The Ultras are starting to melt. The first one of 3 dies. The second one dies there as well. And just Ravaged, unsupported, cannot do it. Iaguz has to strike now. These Widow Mines are kind of killing the reinforcements. I made light of it, but they're doing it.
That was all planned, man.
That was Ultras?
Hey, it was all planned. He knew that he was going to blow
it was all planned.
Yeah.
All right.
And 6 Ultras plus 3 Infestors on the way behind this. The Ravager counts was saved for the most part, but Iaguz still with an army lead, 99 to 82. He had to steam quite a bit, though. He needs to be careful with this huge chunk of army.
There we go. We're going to pause it here. The game can't take all of this amazing excitement. Iaguz clawing his way back into it. Very impressive so far. We're going to cut away to us, of course, guys. Whenever Todd and I broadcast, apparently the lag also comes in. It's just what we do. We suck the internet out of France.
After that series, you guys are off. You're done.
I can't believe Iaguz claws way back in. Now, one thing to kind of keep in mind, we were kind of focused on that fight, but he needs to take a 4th base fairly soon. Like, he's mined out his main and natural. His 3rd has been up and going for a while, but it's been kind of harassed. So
and he's really focused on fighting and trying to win the game right now, so he's not really like paying as much attention to his macro. I think he could have already maybe flown his main command center to a new base, but he's not doing it. So he needs to be careful. If that runs out and he hasn't paid attention to it quickly enough, then he's going to have a huge amount of time during which he's not getting enough income to keep up with the Zerg player. But I really like big effort so far already from him in this game. Like, he's a couple of Liberators, I think. These Widow Mines were really cool, though, because they got to cancel like a lot of these Ultras, but I guess he's starting them elsewhere now.
Yeah, strangely cool.
The fungal.
Oh, God.
And it lands. Whoa. Catches an Ultra, and that was an Infestor?
That was 2 Infestors, Todd.
Whoa.
Weird getting back into it. I think that was actually all the Infestors for right now. I know he was making some, he's got 4 queued up, so he's remaking, kiting backwards.
That kiting is so sick right now. These Ultras are barely hitting anything. They're just dancing around, not really doing much, being transfused as well.
Medevac's super low on health. He's going to pick up Sir and get out. He does dodge the corrosive bile there. And with 4 more Infestors coming out, again, I feel like the entirety of Iaguz's hope to stay in this tournament rests on not getting hit by that big fungal, because the corrosive bile on top of a fungal, that army is just dead.
And you know that it's coming too. Like, at some point, it kind of has to be in there, like dodging fungals for like many minutes, and eventually winning. Oh, got this one set up. Is that his main command center, or is that a new one?
I think that's
it is
the main. There
so
you go.
He did move that to the gold base. Iaguz, maybe he doesn't need to attack. Maybe he can just get a lot of Liberators and try to get a really good fight of creep, especially having the vision here. The vision of Iaguz right now, being on that watchtower, is going to be really good.
Yes. So I agree with you that, well, I would say he doesn't need to attack per se, but he needs to be out on the map. If he's back at that base defending, that's when the fungals hit, that's when the Ultras, like, maybe they're getting kited, but they're also shutting down that base.
Absolutely. It feels like neither player can commit to a big attack, because if viOlet does, then these counter drops will kill him and do a lot of damage. He would have to win the game with his army, which would be very hard. And the same goes for Iaguz. If he attacks with his entire army, he's just going to get fungal and sniped, and then it's over.
And now
Corruptor,
really good choice here, by the way. He's actually going to abandon that forest and just settle himself with killing the hatchery. Some trader drones actually showing that there is drones mining from the top up there as well. So Iaguz is going to know about that expansion and probably hopefully do something about it. But he is securing that base and with the gold base as well. All of a sudden, Iaguz is filthy rich, by the way. we were worried about him getting a 4th base. Well, he's like, how about a 4th and a 5th for that army?
Yeah, there is some decent upgrades here for viOlet. Maybe he should get that. Well, actually, you know, he's already getting melee +2, and now he's going to move across the map and try and go for an attack. The counter drops could be scary, but as long as he does a lot here with this army, could be in a very good position to end this. Brings the drones.
The fungal hits absolutely everything. They'll just cleave through the entire army. Todd, if there was ever a chance, the door just got slammed shut. Those the Ultralisk in combination with the fungal, just too much. He's going to push up here, or maybe even not. It's like, okay, maybe I don't need to deal with that. But the Corruptors, by the way, are just going to knock down those Liberators. Like, there's no answer for him, and I do think, unfortunately, Iaguz, he's been outlasted, so to speak. He put up a good fight, but he's in a lot of trouble here.
Yeah, viOlet even bringing the drones here to the fight. That PF is gonna go down, and with this, the whole economy of Iaguz is going to collapse completely. And he's really not got much left. 23 army supply to 110. This is gonna be it. And viOlet moves on here to the next round, the quarterfinals. After a fantastic series, a 3-1 victory. Just a little bit of an unexpected build or loss in one of the games.
Yeah, and Pat, you know, what a classic guy. Immediately gets out of the booth, goes and shakes hands, and you can see Iaguz not too disturbed by it. Again, he was kind of down-talking his chances going into it. But yeah, like you said, I mean, it was pretty much just the one build order loss. Otherwise, this game, tip of the hat to Iaguz for making it a fight, but for the most part, he was making it a fight against a guy that was dominating. viOlet just came into the series, and outside of that one game, was the most impressive player.
Moves on to face Showtime, who apparently is limited to one single matchup in his tournaments.
He only knows Zerg. So.
And he probably doesn't mind. He's doing pretty good, I guess, beating already 2 of them.
Yeah, absolutely. And well, we'll see. He beat 2 of them, but they were choppy, man. They were rough waters, and we'll have to see if he's going to be able to do it. But I'd love to hear from Smix and viOlet on the stage. Let's see what they say.
Much in control. First of all, congratulations, viOlet. You make it to the top 8 of another tournament this year. Especially with this kind of a crowd cheering in front of you. How does it feel to be on this stage moving forward?
Actually, I haven't played on main stage for a while, so I get really nervous, but this crowd is amazing, so I love it.
Well, you say that you were nervous, but in your series, you had a very convincing victory where you won 3-1. Now, in that one, one of the maps that we saw where Iaguz was down 2-0, he actually came up with a very aggressive strategy in the next map. So, did that catch you off guard at all?
Actually, I played him in last week in DreamHack Austin, and I nidus him, and but I failed. But I think he think I'm going to cheese again. That's why he like Marine heavy medivac. But I got fast mirror, but still this counter, so it's unlucky for me.
Well, luckily enough, you were able to close out the series 3-1. And I want to ask you about how you're doing in general. This year, you had a strong start to the year. You had the top 4 finish at Leipzig, then top 8 at Katowice at the Winter Championship. Then last week, got top 16 at Austin. So just in general, how is viOlet, the player, doing?
When New Year started, I got really good motivation to playing StarCraft, so I playing hard, so I got good result. And then I got some problem in my health and in my family stuff, so I just couldn't focus on the game. And I just playing like, used to tournament, I play like nervous, because I make a strategy, I do like, build stuff. But now, used I studied my opponent, but now I feel like I just trying to play comfortably, and I think it's a little works. So I'm actually confident about next match as well.
confidence against the next match is actually against Showtime, who many people regard as one of the top Protoss players in Europe at the moment. So despite that, you're saying that you still feel very confident.
Because I haven't played long time, so he probably know what should I do. That's why I'm confident with it.
All right, then. Well, congratulations again on making it to the top 8. Of course, we will be witnessing his match against Showtime later on today. That does wrap up our round of 16, but when we come back, we will have our first quarterfinal match of the day. It will be Polt versus a Laser.